Good evening, good evening, good evening. 22:55 on the dial, 22:55 on the dial. And I am saying good evening to you, depending on where you're watching from. Please do let me know, by the way, where you are watching from. I do like to find out where the participants of my live streams have tuned in from and how you've heard about my brand, because obviously that helps me with my market research. So this evening we are going to be on day two of what is the five-part series of how you can actually evaluate your brand and marketing. And yesterday we talked a little bit about branding, brand perception, marketing research that you could do, looking at your consistency, looking at how much you spend developing your brand, your messaging, your visual identity, your tone of voice, whether or not you've got a strategy. We covered off quite a lot, and I kind of summarized that in a YouTube video yesterday. So you could check that out on this channel right here, Insight to Marketing on YouTube. But at the moment, our focus is day two of this five-part series. And what we're talking about tonight is actually time and money, and whether or not you are wasting time and money in your business. So we're going to jump right in. And for those of you that are not actually aware, I've been doing branding and marketing now for a very long time, 28 years to be precise. And the first 16 years were actually spent working for business owners, as I was an employee working with them for at least 16 years before I was made redundant. And over the last few years, since 2013, I've been building my own brand, doing the exact same thing that I was doing for employers that I worked for. And that includes coaching and training and consulting and advising. I'm a business partner with a number of organizations, and I also do paid speaking and training in other communities as well. So I've been in the industry for a while. I know what I'm talking about, and in the unlikely event that I don't know what I'm talking about, I can always find you someone that can actually give you the answers. Now, let me kick off by saying, right, there are a lot of businesses that, can I say waste? They waste a lot of time. They waste a lot of time. They waste a lot of time doing tasks that are perhaps not necessarily bringing any results or attracting any clients. They waste a lot of time. We waste a lot of time actually, doing what I would call low level tasks that are not necessarily related to business growth. There might be lots of admin or making loads of phone calls or even going along to events. They're not always going to give us, what we want in terms of sales and new custom and new clients and new inquiries. But statistics show that about an hour and a half a day is the average that most business owners are spending doing unproductive tasks. And I don't know if you can relate to this. I was sharing this earlier on in another live that I did. And I was saying that most of the people that I know actually waste in excess of that, doing activities that they know are not yielding them any results. I don't know how many of you spend time watching social media, scrolling, sharing memes, but that's something that I know a lot of us do a lot of the time. And when we add up the hours that we spend doing that, it is a lot. Like, I'll just briefly share with you that on calculation, 2 hours a day, even 3 hours a day, works out to be nearly 2 full days if you were a paid employee. We're talking about 14 hours spread over 7 days. If you're a paid employee, no employer is going to pay you to just be scrolling the internet. And when you're running your own business, it's actually quite important that you consider that, right? We don't want to be out here in our businesses, doing the most in terms of tasks and doing the most in terms of, just spending time online and engaging and sharing memes and writing blog posts, creating trending videos, finding all the audios, and we've got nothing to show for it afterwards. Like, we've got to make this make sense. So that's just a kind of food for thought. And if you can resonate with that, or you feel like you might be doing this and losing quite a lot of time doing tasks that are not really helping you grow your business, that's something that you want to look at, right? Thank you for the like, whoever's come in and liked the video. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know where you're watching from. So, a lot of business owners are not actually spending time planning. They're not actually spending time to actually look at creating a routine. Many of us just dive into our week and we quite literally just jump into whatever we feel needs to be done. Most of us, as soon as we get up, we're on the phone, aren't we? We're on the phone or we're on the laptop. We're checking emails. We're doing posts on social media. Most of us are also doing posts on social media without any kind of content plan. Is that you? Let me know if that's you. We lack consistency and we lack routine, but we're quick off the mark to be ordering stuff, to be watching stuff, to be consuming content, and there's nothing really there at the end to show for it. For most of us. Obviously, there are some of us that do have plenty to show for it, and I want to congratulate you on that. But I'm here to say that a lot of us are wasting time. We're wasting time watching webinars. Like, and by that, I don't mean like you're not watching good webinars. I just mean you sit down, you waste, an hour and a half, you watch a webinar, you're not even really sure what you got out of it because you didn't actually check the webinar content before you signed up for it. You just got the link and off you go. Watching it, hour and a half of your time wasted. What did you do with that information? Have you used it? Have you applied it? A lot of us sit here on YouTube University regularly looking at people's content. We'll actually sit down and watch videos on, how to create content on Canva or how to set up your YouTube channel. And we don't set up anything, and we are not using even Canva Pro. So I don't know what we're doing out here. Many of us are spending a lot of time doing things that we are not actually getting any benefits or results from. And quite a few of us are also spending too much time on lots of different platforms. I don't know if you're watching this now, let me know in the comments if this is you, right? Some of us are on social media and we're on literally every social media channel that there is because we feel that we need to be. We haven't done the research to see if our clients are there, by the way. We haven't checked whether or not our last customers are even on Facebook, but we'll be on Facebook posting. We don't even know if the demographic of client that we want is on Instagram, but we spend most of our time on Instagram. I've got clients who, before working with me, one of their main goals was to attract corporate clients, but they've spent most of their time on Threads and Twitter. Not even Instagram because they don't like posting images. Threads and Twitter. Now X.com, guys. So I know it's not an exaggeration when I say some of us are doing a lot and we are not even understanding why we're doing it. Right? How much time do you spend? You're watching live now. How much time do you actually spend online doing activities where perhaps you may not actually be seeing any results? Something to think about, okay? A lot of us spend a lot of time designing and recording content. How many of you have created podcasts that you don't even promote, recorded videos that you don't even share more than once, sat down designing templates that you're not even using, or even paid for templates to be designed that you're not even using? That one is a waste of time and money, right? A lot of us are doing this, and I'm going to share some solutions with you before we get to the end of tonight's session. And it's going to be brief because I've got things that I need to crack on and do, mainly sleep. So if you're not aware, time is being wasted because a lot of the time we're doing the wrong things. I don't know if you're conscious of this, but over 60% of companies are actually paying for marketing tools they underuse and draining budgets that they claim that they don't even have, but they're not even looking at it as having a budget. So if you're watching this now, for example, and you pay for, I don't know, 4 different apps, 2 subscriptions, you pay for, I don't know, business cards every quarter, your logo gets rebranded every 6 months. You may not be aware, but you're spending money on your marketing. And so therefore, I would argue that you do have a marketing budget. I've spoken to so many people this year that have said to me they don't put aside money for marketing. But what they don't realize is that subscription that you're paying that you're not using, right? That card, that account that you signed up for, that membership that you're a part of that you're not actively using is a waste. And that is actually marketing budget. Training courses that you've sat down and ordered that you're not doing and fulfilling and completing is a waste of a marketing budget. You might not know it as a marketing budget, but it certainly is. So we're wasting money on things like membership courses, subscribing to apps, paying for influencers. And God knows how many of you are actually out here boosting posts and you don't even know who your audience are, but you're boosting posts on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, because you get the pop-up that says, do you want to boost this post? And off you go. You're just boosting the post. No clarity on your audience. Not really sure about who your audience should be, but you've boosted that post. You're targeting everyone because you're not really clear on who your audience is. The messaging's not landing because you haven't actually taken time to develop a message that will resonate with the audience that you haven't identified yet. The photo shoot that you've paid for, the website that you've designed, are you even updating that website regularly? The mailing list that you've actually acquired and the person that you paid to set up your email template, are you actually using that email template to send out mailing emails to that mailing list? I remember years ago there was a brand that she'd only just started. She's a very good brand now though, but when she started out, she changed her logo design about 3 or 4 times, and I remember her asking me like, "V, what do you think of refreshing brands?" And I just said, "Listen, if it's not broke, what are you trying to fix?" Some of us have just got money to burn, quite literally. There's not even a reason why you'd be changing your logo, but you're paying for someone to change the logo. Sometimes we just got to be satisfied that what we got is actually what we can use right now and just make the best of that and keep our eye on the stats and analytics because you might surprise yourself. I don't know how many of you actually take the time to ask people how they heard of your business, or how many of you are actually evaluating, you know, how certain activities might be attracting clients to your website or attracting clients to your program or your course or the bookshop to buy your book. Are you aware of what it is that's actually working for you in your business in terms of marketing activities? And when you think about the last few months, are you aware of the marketing tactics that are actually working for you in your business and helping you to grow your business? Because if you're not, if your answer to that is no, that's definitely what I would call an orange flag. You want to do something about that, right? So let's get clear on what marketing activities are working. And we describe working as they are helping you to attract clients. Yeah, they're the reason why a client will buy or purchase or make an inquiry. Okay, let's make sure you're aware of that, because then what happens is you can put that particular activity in your marketing plan and spend more of your energy doing that rather than doing something else. A lot of us actually spend time on marketing activities that we think are actually going to generate income for us, and they're not. In fact, 80% of our working time, our working day as business owners, even as employees, I would argue, is typically spent on low value activities. As I was saying at the start of this session, we leave about 15 to 20% of the time available to make important actions like, sales follow up or after sales customer service, or doing a stock inventory check that's really important for a big order. Instead, we'll be looking online and scrolling and clicking, or sending memes. We got to look at how we're using our time. 80% of daily work time is often spent on low value activities, 20% on important outcome driven tasks. So it's about making sure that you know how you're using your time, what tasks you're doing, and also understanding that busy doesn't mean productive. Okay? Busy does not mean productive. So it's very important that you're clear on how you're actually spending your time. So something that you might want to do is just look at how you're spending your time, how you're spending your money, what you've done since January. Wherever you are at now when you watch this video, are you clear on what you're supposed to be doing in terms of your business? Have you actually got a plan? Do you have a routine? Are you mindful of how you're spending your time and what's actually getting you results? Do you ask people how they heard about your business? And if you are spending a lot of time on social media, are you seeing results from the time that you're spending on social media? The course you've invested in, the book that you bought, have you read it? Has the course been implemented as yet? How far are you along on all of the tasks that you've got in your to-do list? Because again, this is a massive indication of whether or not the work is getting done. And as I said before, a lot of us are wasting time on tasks and activities that aren't really helping us to grow our business. So, there is a very familiar saying that is, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. A lot of us are out here doing that. I would actually argue some of us are even spending the first 5.5 hours sharpening that axe because we lack clarity and direction. And there is a quick fix. And that might be that you have to invest in a book or a course that you actually read, that you actually complete. But what it means is that when you do that, you then have clarity on the actions that you need to take, and you are more mindful about how you spend your time. Because without a routine, I'll be honest with you, without blocking out time in your diary to write the blog or to do the video or to schedule content, which is a massive, massive time-saving opportunity. Some of you are not scheduling content. You literally go online every day and post something, and it's exhausting for you. I know it is. So even if you were to learn, I mean, on my YouTube channel right now, I've got a whole video which teaches you in less than 8 minutes how to schedule content using an app from your phone. And that content can be scheduled using Business Suite. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Good evening, those of you that have just come in. Let me know in the comments if you are aware of Business Suite. If you're not aware of Business Suite, I would urge you to check out that app and start scheduling your Instagram stories and start scheduling your Instagram posts, your carousels, your reels. I mean, I don't know how many of you know, but you can also schedule Instagram reels within the Instagram app, right? I'm not sure how many of you are actually familiar with the ways in which you can save time. A lot of us are wasting time though. So there are lots of different ways. I've got a video that I did earlier on today. If you've been joining me live so far in the week, then you'll know every day at 8 p.m. this week from the dates that you see on the video caption. I am live 8 p.m. Instagram on the Insight to Marketing page. I then come on YouTube as well and do a presentation with slides. I don't do it simultaneously because I find it a little bit distracting. So you won't get all of the juicy tips on the YouTube video because obviously when I'm freestyling and in flow with people interacting with me that are engaging and responding, I can give more tips and, demonstrate my expertise and share a little bit more than I would if I'm just talking to PowerPoint slides here on YouTube. So yeah, feel free to ask questions. Feel free to stay on topic and ask me something if something's bothering you around your time management, or you lacking consistency, or you need some advice on budgeting. But 3 tips I want to share with you this evening before I go, and before I share with you some tools you might want to check out. I have mentioned one already, which is Business Suite. The first tip I want to share is, if you're not already, try to block out time in your diary and name that time. Like literally, Monday, 9 a.m., schedule content, 30 minutes. Yeah. Tuesday, 6 p.m., write my blogs, half an hour or 2 hours, however long you might take. Yeah. Thursday morning, 5 a.m., record some videos. But make sure you've put in, and these are just suggested times. Please do not get up at 5 a.m. recording videos. I'm not suggesting anyone does that. But what I am saying to you is name the time and the date, put it in your diary, and make sure that you've also got like self-care days as well. I was saying earlier on, I have a lot of time in my diary which I block out for me, and that is my time. I am not available. I will not make myself available, because it's important that as business owners we actually make time for ourselves. If you are serving clients, particularly if you're doing coaching and one-to-one coaching as I am, it can get very draining when you're pouring your heart and soul into, live streams and showing up for your clients, giving them regular advice. It requires energy. So you don't want to be doing that 5 days a week. So you make sure that as a business owner, you are holding yourself accountable to make time for what you're doing and make time for yourself. So block that time out. Then make sure you're using analytics to make informed decisions about what you can let go of. What can you outsource? What can you hold on to and work smarter with? So, for example, social media, digital marketing. Could you spend less time on social media, less than an hour a day, and use the other hour that you've been wasting on social media, sending out memes and watching videos? Could you spend that hour writing email content? Because so many of us will say we don't have time, but actually, when you look at how you spend your time, you'll find you've got a lot of time available. You'll find you've got plenty of time available to do what you need to do, right? It is just about how you manage your time. And then my final point in relation to kind of looking at time management, looking at budget management is when it comes to your budgets, right? Any apps you're not using, unsubscribe. Any memberships you're a part of that you're not active in, unjoin. If your phone is a distraction, remove some of the apps. Even if you maintain the subscription, take some of the apps off your phone. Dare I say it, WhatsApp is a massive distraction for a lot of you, right? As are Facebook groups. So unless you're in Facebook groups for a reason and you're contributing and you're sharing, etc., I would say anything you can see that you're spending too much time on, make a note of that, and then make sure that you are getting results from the amount of time you're spending on those platforms, doing those things, on those activities. That's the only way you're going to know whether or not it makes sense. And it may not make sense, right? So, apps that you may want to use. I've mentioned one already. As I said, I'll mention it again. Business Suite. I'll mention another one. Monday.com. By the way, I am not endorsing these. I'm just saying check them out. Asana. Yeah. Later.com. Buffer.com. Those are some tools you can check out. Now, if you've got my brand and marketing planner, then you'll know already that for £29, you can have access to content, planning tips, workbook sections for you to write down your thoughts and get planning properly with strategy and ideas. But also you get lots of campaign ideas each month that will help you, and sections each month to review your month and then to plan ahead for the following month. So if you're not really up to speed with holding yourself accountable, or you're not necessarily keeping an eye on what you're doing, I would recommend that you speak to me. We have got 2 events coming up between now and the end of August. The first one is already online. I would highly recommend that if you would like to sort your branding and marketing out, if you want brand clarity, if you want to understand more about how to target your customers, if you feel like your messaging needs a bit of tweaking, maybe you want to develop some offers, perhaps you just want to map out your content for the next few weeks, that is exactly what we're going to be doing. You would be doing if you join us on the 5th of July. It's an in-person event, takes place at a lovely, very spacious venue close to East Croydon Station. And there is currently a special offer on at the moment. And there's a reason for that special offer. If you watched the YouTube video, you'll know why that is. I've had a very good month of June. I'm grateful. And so I'm, in the same way that I've been blessed in my business, I'm also blessing others. That's the summary version of it. If you catch my lives, that's where I share most of my behind the scenes and personal information. So I guess you've got to be there to tune in and get the inside scoop. But yeah, 5th of July is the main date. And of course, if you're looking for kind of longer term coaching, then you can speak to me about one-to-one coaching. And yeah, follow and connect. I'm on LinkedIn. We also have posts that we do on Insight to Marketing, the brand and marketing planner page, Insight to Social, and also Inspire Your Biz. All right, so we're all one brand. And if you would like to find out more about what we do, just get in touch. You can see the website details right there on the screen. And I thank you for watching. If you've got any questions, you can let me know. And just to say, for day 3 of the series, we're going to be looking at offline marketing. So come along with your pen and notepad. We're going to be talking about offline marketing. I'm going to share some tips and some resources for you on that, ways in which you can improve your online marketing, ways in which you might be wasting money and time on offline offline marketing. And you can come along with your questions if you do have any. All right. And as I can see, there are a few of you online. I can't see any questions, but if you do have a question that's branding or marketing related and relevant to time and budget, do make sure that you ask the question. Don't be shy. And you can catch up with day one, which was all about branding. That is also right here on the YouTube channel. So it's a 5-part series. We end on Friday. Tomorrow, day 3, we're looking at offline. All right. Take care, and I will speak to you soon. Thanks for sticking around and watching.